Tyler, you want to get us going with Frieren?
Yeah, so probably a lot of people has heard of Frieren already, but if you haven't, it is a fantasy adventure drama kind of show. It's done by Studio Madhouse, and it's set in on Mal with around a 9 rating. It kind of pushed for metal for a while, but if with anything like that, it doesn't stay that way for long. So, um, the first episode is 2 hours long. It's almost like a movie. It's going to be consecutive 2 hour as well. I don't know how many total episodes. The manga has been going on since 2020, and it's still going. It's 8.62 on Mal as well, so it's pretty good manga. But to give you a little summary before we get started, basically the Demon King has been defeated, and the victorious hero party returns home before disbanding. Before, which is Mage Frieren, Hero Himmel, Priest Heiter, and Warrior Aizen. They reminisce about their decade-long journey as the moments to bid each other farewell arrives. But the passing of time is different for elves, and this brings Frieren to witness her companions slowly passing away one by one. Before his death, though, Hyder manages to give hoist a young human apprentice called Fern onto Frieren. Driven by the elf's passion for collecting inventory of magic spells, the pair embarks on a seemingly aimless journey, revisiting the places that the heroes of yore had visited. Along their travels, Frieren slowly confronts her regrets of missed opportunities to form deeper bonds with her now deceased comrades. That was a bit of a long one, but it's got a lot packed in there. So
that had a lot of Lord of the Ringsy like words in
it. I tried to translate as we went. That way we wasn't using like too big of words because it had some big ones in there. So
a myriad of spells in inventory. I think myriad. This is the same amount of syllables. You could have said
it. But would they have understood with my fumbling of words? So
you did a good job, kid.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate when somebody says I do a good job. But yeah, just to get into this, I guess we'll start with like the OP and ED. Like, did y'all enjoy those?
Yeah, I thought they were really good. I thought they really fit the vibe of the show. Like, this not being a battle shonen, if it had like some epic song to start, would have been really weird. So I think they did a good job fitting the vibe of what we're going to be watching with that. And like when I first heard the opening, I was like, "Oh, this is a chill ass song."
Yeah. It's also done by Yaotsuba, so pretty banger. So
yeah, I have recency bias because I love that Oshinoko opener. It's so good. But yeah, it definitely fit the vibe. I didn't really understand the backlash it was getting online. They're like, this didn't fit. I was like, no, it seemed perfect. We're not battle, like, it's beyond the journey. We're exploring the story after they've defeated the Demon King.
Yeah, I think a lot of them was saying like the OP was kind of a bit more upbeat, I guess. Right? Is that what the problem was? I guess.
I guess so. I mean, I didn't pay too much attention to it, but I just kind of saw it. I was like, huh, what?
Yeah, I mean, they make banger music anyways. Like Reek said, Oshinoko intro is probably way up there in views and listens. But me personally, I really like the ending a lot better. It just felt better, I guess, after watching the episodes. It just flowed better for me. But I mean, not saying the opening was good and it was bad. It was really good too, but the ending just knocked it out of the park, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've always really enjoyed songs that I think is Millet, however you pronounce it, because she did the Demon Slayer opening with Man with a Mission.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah, so she did the last Demon Slayer opening, which song? She was the woman singing in that song with the guys with the wolf heads.
Okay. Makes sense. But yeah, Other than that, like the overall music too was really good in this. I really enjoyed it all, honestly.
Yeah, the soundtrack mid episode was really good. It just they did a good job fitting the vibe of what we were watching. So I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess now we'll kind of move on to like the animation, like the fight scenes and all that stuff. Um, I really thought the animation was beautiful. I thought they done a really good job with it. I think that they showed off like the sky and the surroundings throughout the show a lot, and I think it made it that much more impactful. Because this is supposed to be an adventure, like a journey type anime, and they made it seem like that by showing like all the surroundings instead of focusing on like I guess them. They focused on the broader picture. Kind of reminded me of like Studio Ghibli ish, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely had like a feeling of that. I don't think it was as like stunning as like a Ghibli background,
No.
but they did a good job of really focusing on that. And I thought the character animations were a little simple at times. Like not like bad, but just like they didn't really like go all out on that and they really focused on the environment because the environment helped tell the story. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the fantasy world they built. And like Tyler said, he was getting Ghibli vibes. I was getting A1 picture vibes.
Okay.
I thought it was that good, but Madhouse does a very fantastic job with their animation. They've got a great catalog of some excellent anime they've done before. But yeah, it felt like I was watching like, Lord of the Rings world. It was really
Okay.
neat.
And we didn't get much action in this per se, but we did get a little bit, and I thought that that fight that I'm talking about, it was pretty amazing, honestly. Even though it was pretty short, um, it had a lot of teamwork, I guess you can say, and they used it to like build the relationships and story as well with it. But the animation that came with it was really good, even though it was pretty short lived. So
Yeah, not a lot of fighting in these first four episodes. And I watched episode five, and then we're starting to get towards a little more action. But one thing I enjoyed with the fight animations is they were using the spell crest when they were using magic attacks. And it reminded me of like the really early days of Fairy Tale before they were like, we're just not going to animate this shit anymore. Fuck it.
Oh my god, I had the exact same thought, Dan. It reminded me of early Fairy Tale. Exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of that fight, we'll get like into like the magic system and world building, like the storytelling aspects of this show. Um, was there anything that you liked or disliked about how they handled all of those?
I thought it was really fun that they used like your classic RPG party system, essentially, where each person had their own role. And it wasn't just like four people with swords running around. Like you had a mage, you had a priest, you had a hero, and you had a warrior. So I thought it was fun that you had like four classes and how they interacted and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool.
Corrupt priest.
Corrupt priest, yeah, my boy, my boy.
He's a real one.
But yeah, I loved how they like consistently tied things back that Frieren did back to her party. Kind of like all the spells that she's learning. One to remove rust or whatever from bronze statues. She used that for something of for himmel. And like the sour grape spell, she Aizen apparently loves sour grapes, and it was really neat to see them like tying simple things like that back into the story, the relationships, the character building. I guess you can say even like the sunrise. She made an effort to go see the sunrise because not because of her, but because of her people. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I like how um she doesn't realize how much her first party and journey affected her. And when Fern asks her, why do you like collecting all these weird spells? She's just like, oh, I do. What she doesn't realize is because Himmel loves seeing her spells. So she subconsciously started collecting spells. And I just like watching her slowly, her heart is moving closer and closer, and she's opening up bit by bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was probably my favorite part of this show. Is just seeing her like, because she was kind of deadpan at the beginning, like she didn't show any emotion. But as her party is, passing on, she starts to like show a little emotion, and it just goes to show how much this 10-year journey actually meant to her. Even though like 10 years for her is a drop in the bucket, that's like a week for us. But it goes to show how much those character interactions and the friends she made actually meant to her. Because at first she's like, yeah, whatever. I'll see you guys in 75 years. And like, oh, we're all going to be dead.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Another thing, like, with the magic system world building and stuff like that. Talking about like the fight with the one fight that we did see. There was a lot of world building that came with that. We learned. I loved how they introduced like the history of the world with this fight, and and we learned a lot about like the magic abilities, like the um how he helped like reinvent like revolutionize magic in general, and that was like a really good like scene. I thought not only did we see like a really good fight scene and really good like character building with Fern and Frieren, but we also got like a really good backstory, history, world building, and intro to the power system all in one. So they like put it all together, and they done a really fantastic job with it, I thought.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the team of MIT scientists figuring out how that spell worked. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, this is so stupid. I was like, did you really need to include that? It's just a bunch of like scholars like studying it. I was laughing.
But it is crazy though that like 80 years ago he was big bad. They couldn't defeat him, and so they had to seal him away. But like 80 years now into the current present Frieren, like it's no sweat. I
Yeah,
mean that's just how much he helped change the world, and not in his favor. So
definitely. So do you guys have any thoughts on the pacing and how it went with, I mean, it was kind of weird because we got 4 episodes at once. So like the pacing feels really good, but I think I'd be interested to see if it continues feeling good as we progress. I mean, and it's not often that you get to just sit down and watch 4 episodes with basically like the week it drops.
I mean, you know, I thought the pacing was great. Even I think that the way they do the time in this really makes up for like the kind of slowness of the show, because it I guess it is supposed to be kind of slower pace, but it's not really slower pace because they do a lot of jumping around with time, and I think they do it pretty well, honestly. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One of the things I liked is that like when the story jumped around, because it wasn't focusing on Frieren, it was focusing on her interactions with her party. Like if I had to watch some mage walk around and collect spells for like 2 episodes and all of a sudden she was back hanging with the boys, I'd be like, why do we do that? That's not what this show's about. So I did like the way they jumped around.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good pacing. To your point, we got 4 episodes at once, so I kind of feel a little spoiled, but they definitely help with the timeline and saying, X number of years after Himmel's death. It helps me kind of keep, pace of it because I think she was hanging out with that priest in Fern for what, like 4 to 5 years? And to her, that was
uh
like a couple days.
yeah,
So
it was definitely like 4 to, I think it was like 4 to 7 or something like that, was it
Jeez.
not?
Yeah, it was a good amount of time. It was what is it? What did Fern say? Half her life she's been with Frieren?
Yeah, so I'd
Yeah.
say probably about 7. I mean, she looks like she's like 15 or 16 now. So
Jeez. So that's crazy. But no, the narration, with that little in there. And then I love the callbacks to the previous journey and how she's kind of recreating it again. But my guess is she's going to make a new party. That's kind of how it's seemingly going.
Yeah, and I watched episode 5, and that's definitely where it's going.
Yep. I did too. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know.
I do think that I'm glad that they released the first 4 episodes together, because I think that was I guess the slowest. I'm not gonna say it was slow, but I think it would have been the slowest part of it, because it was like the intro, and I think they all needed to go together in order to make it make sense, I guess you can say. So I'm glad that they released all of them together, because I don't think it would have been as well received if they would have released them one at a time for that first 4 intro section. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. To me, it kind of felt like a prequel to the actual story. It was kind of like reading The Hobbit before you read Lord of the Rings. It was there to set the tone, set the vibe, set the story. And now we're actually going to get into Frieren's next journey.
Yep.
Yeah. Was you glad that it released all at once too, Kriegs, or like would you rather it be like single releases?
I like that it dropped 4 episodes at once. So I was under the impression that it was just going to be one long episode, kind of like Oshinoko. So I was prepared for that. So when I went to Crunchyroll and saw 4 episodes, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine too.
Yeah, but I literally just told my Google TV, I was like, hey, put on Frieren. And all of a sudden I saw credits roll, and I was about to text Tyler, like, what the fuck, dude? I thought this was like a 2-hour movie.
You did text me.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell, dude?
I was like, it is. But they broke it up into 4, so but yeah, I think it definitely confused Dan every minute.
I just didn't go to Crunchyroll and click on it. I just like told my TV to play it, and I was like, oh, what the hell's going on?
Oh, he fancy, huh?
Yeah. No, but I think it would have been really neat if they made a version of that where they just kind of made it in movie format and just let it flow, and we just sat there and watched it.
I think so too. I think that would have been better, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, 4 episodes at once, I think it would have been better as like all together, no credits or whatever. But I don't think it would have been as good if it would have started episode 1 and released weekly after that. I think it would have been lost on some people, honestly. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having it all at once made you sit through the 4 episodes. And like if I just watched the first one and had to wait a week, I don't know if I would have been as into it, honestly.
yeah, that's what I thought too. So good thing that they didn't release it single. But I guess we'll get into our next thing, and we'll talk about some of the characters. So did y'all have like any like favorites, or at least like characters that you didn't like or anything like that?
I didn't really have a character that I didn't like. There wasn't really anybody who just really stuck out like, fuck this guy, you know?
Yeah.
But I'd have to say my favorite was definitely Heiter, especially as a younger man. You gotta love a priest with a drinking problem. That's just gonna be my boy. That's the kind of guy I'd want to hang out at a bar with. And I feel like he brought a lot of like not comic relief, but he brought like a lighter side to the story,
Yeah. And I knew you was gonna pick Hyder. I was like, no way Dan doesn't pick him.
Hey man, I love my anime characters who get after the booze.
Hell yeah. What about you, Kriegs?
I'm gonna go with my typical normie answer. The MC, Frieren.
There you go.
She's an elf, so there you go, right there. And I'm just kind of interested in seeing her journey and the challenges ahead. Honestly.
Okay. I guess for me, I really like Frieren too. But I really like Hyter as well. I'm with Dan on this one. He just like was really funny, I thought. So it definitely brought out like good moments between Frieren and Hyder. All the corrupt priest jokes was pretty funny. it definitely made me laugh a few times. And I think that Hyder kind of like secured Frieren's like future kind of as far as making her develop more, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely. I think he saw how much she actually grew as emotionally and like person wise on their journey, and he wanted that to continue for her. One thing I really enjoyed was that he was kind of talking shit behind Freeren's back by like him and Eisen were going back with letters. Like they're like, oh yeah, she's taking a freaking apprentice, bro. Look at that. She said she wouldn't do that. And they're just going back and forth with letters. And like when she finally met Eisen, and she's like, how'd you know that? Oh, we were in the DMs. You don't even know.
and I really enjoyed Eisen too, even though he's a man of few words. Eisen was like for him being as old as he was, I'm not sure how like old he was. I know he's older in the dwarf years, but he still got it, in the little that we've seen after, in the end. So he still got it.
Yeah, I mean, dwarves don't live nearly as long as elves, but they usually live like a quarter of like a millennia. They live like 250 years. So like he's definitely up there in age. I love the fact he's like, I can't swing an axe like I used to. I'm not coming with you.
And another one I'm not gonna miss out on is Fern and Frieren, like their relationship makes them like very fun to watch. Especially like in the later episodes when we get into like mother Fern top shit. Trying to lead around the I don't even know. We don't even know how old Frieren is at this point, but she's like very old and she shouldn't uh be some nobody should be being a mother to her, but Fern, a 15, 16-year-old kid, is having to be mother to her. So that's wild and it's funny all in one. So
Yeah, I really enjoy the fact that Fern is just like, come on, Granny, we got to get moving here. If we do this for 30 years, I'm gonna be like an old lady by the time we get done with whatever you're trying to do here. So we got to get going.
Eh, my girl needs her sleep past noon, man.
And that's another thing when they flash back after Fern was like, "Did you do this?" And with the heroes too in the party, and she was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Did they not say anything?" And she was like, "No, not really." And it flashes back, and you just see how pissed they was at her. But I guess going off of that, like, do y'all have any like favorite moments of the show, like that you really enjoyed, or any moments that you really didn't care for?
I don't think I had any that I really didn't care for. I think the one that really stood out to me, and I kind of mentioned it, was actually like with watching some of her old party members, pass away. Just actually seeing her cry and like show emotion. I thought that was a really good bit of character development we got, even in it was 3 episodes, but it was freaking 75 years. So like I thought it was cool to actually see that it actually had that much of an effect on her when she really played it off like it wouldn't. So I thought that was really good to see.
So for me, mine was an animation scene, and it was in the trailer. It was the scene where she's looking for the blue flowers after Fern's getting frustrated because she's like, yeah, we can look for a year or two for these flowers. And she's like, I'm not spending a year looking for flowers that don't exist. And then she flashbacks to where Himmel talked about these flowers. And then she floats up, and then she floats down to the field of them. The wind's blowing, her hair's going. That was very beautifully animated. That
Ye-
that actually drew my attention in the trailer.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite scene too. Well,
Yep.
actually, start after that when they had all the flowers around Himmel's statue, but
Yep.
couldn't say it twice. I didn't want to steal it from you.
Nah, it's all right.
I think a couple of my favorite scenes. One of them was when she went into the sweet shop. Actually, that kind of like threw me off guard. I thought it was going to be something different than it actually was. I guess y'all know what I'm talking about. That was a fun scene. And then the second one that I really enjoyed, I laughed a lot, was when Fern and Frieren was kind of just walking down a path, and I guess Frieren starts to notice, that Fern is growing, into a lady, and she looks over and like they make a reference out of pebbles to
The old cannons.
show that the comparison, I guess you can say, of Fern and Frieren. I really laughed at that a lot.
We're comparing cannons, folks.
with rocks on the side of the road. I enjoyed that a lot. But as far as any scenes I didn't like, I mean, naturally, I don't like any scenes that make me cry, and there was a couple that made me cry, including the Himmel funeral scene. That kind of made me tear up quite a bit. So I don't like that. So
You love those scenes, dude. Don't lie to the listeners. That's your favorite thing to do.
yeah, maybe. I'm gonna need less of those though. I don't need to cry as much, bro.
I feel that. I think for me, the only thing that kind of annoyed me was like Frieren's lack of understanding of time in comparison to like the lifespan of a human. I'm like, you're like 1,000-year-olds, lady. You've seen like hundreds of people live their life out. Like, have a little compassion and a little respect for somebody who went from like, go see your boys. Don't wait 25 years to go see somebody. It's like, it might have only been, a drop in the bucket for you, but it was such a big part of these people's lives. And I was like, yeah, it's just kind of annoying to me.
I think though the time kind of gets away from her though. That's like when we're doing stuff that we really enjoy. Time flies, and I think it happens to her, but on a much different level. You know what I mean?
Go see the homies.
Yeah.
She did after 50 years.
Yeah, that'd be my criticism. She just like, yeah, we'll see this meteor in 50 years. Like, you couldn't go back a couple times throughout those 50 years to say hi, or
Yeah, like you're not traveling up and down this continent over and over and over again. You're kind of just walking through the woods right now. Like, plan your trips accordingly. Go say what's goody.
I know, like even Ash Ketchum went home every now and then. It's cool.
And he's been 10 way longer than Frieren's been alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess to start closing this up, got a couple more questions. Like, do you think this lived up like to the internet hype that it got?
Kinda.
Think so? Okay.
Like, it was good. I don't think it's like the next best thing since like sliced white bread, but I think it's going to be a compelling story. I mean, I didn't see it really get hyped up like crazy, but my Twitter feed is a little more. It's all Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers at this point. So
Jujutsu Kaisen in One Piece.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about you, Kriegs?
So I should introduce you to my Twitter feed. 'Cause it was getting hyped up.
As me.
I know, right? It got hyped up, and I think so far it's lived up to it. Let's see if it can maintain it. But a lot of people are saying anime of the year right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's just so beautifully drawn. I like stories with world building and character development a lot. So I'm really excited to continue watching this.
And one more thing before we get into our like rating, like final thoughts, whatever. Anything like specifically that you would like to see going forward in Frieren?
Yeah, for me, I think she's so overpowered because she's lived for so long. I would actually like to see her get challenged.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to say what happens in episode 5. I don't want to spoil, but they run into a little issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
I think the same thing for me, like I think it was was it 3 when they ran into the demon of all demons, the demon lord's like secondhand man, and they washed the dude. Like they hyped this guy up. He's like, he's going to be the strongest ever. And it's like, they took him down like 2 attacks. So I'm like,
yeah, he was too strong. They sealed him.
It'd be like if you sealed the final boss and then like in like the fourth game you come back and like you just wash him as like the intro boss, you know? It's kind of like, okay, let me see a challenge here. I want to see them not just shoot 2 spells. But that's the shonen boy in me coming out.
I gotcha. I mean, then it's kind of like a general consensus of the Degens right now. Is I feel the same way. I feel like I want to see them. I feel like I want to see Frieren and Ferns and whatever else, whoever else is on the party or whatever. I want to see their relationship and their. I want to see them tested. I want to see that part of it, and I really hope that we get something like that going forward. So, uh,
Definitely.
but I guess, do you want me to start with the ratings and the final thoughts, all that good stuff, Dan, or do you want to go?
I can go first.
Okay.
So I think the story's been rock solid so far, and the plot is laid out to be a very interesting journey. I'm hoping some livelier characters join the party because the show needs some like comic relief. It needs somebody with a little more pizzazz than just Fern telling like Frieren to get on her ass and let's get moving. But overall, I think it's like it's portraying some really good themes that I'm going to really enjoy. I mean, you have regret, mortality, and interpersonal relationships between people. So I think it's going to be a really good show to see how that develops further. And I guess this already happened. I said this is definitely going to be a show that's going to have Tyler crying at some point. So called that. So far, I'm giving it 8 out of 10. I think this is the only show I actually gave a rating because there's more than one episode out. So
Yeah, I feel that. I guess I'll go second. My thoughts on it, like combined with like the music and how the story feels, it actually feels like I'm like watching a Lord of the Ring esque type show, and I'm a huge fan of that. Obviously, this is, I think, about as close as you're gonna get to like a Lord of the Rings type anime type of deal. This is pretty cool to have a show that looks this beautiful and just has such a high potential story, without it being all about fighting. Now, I'd love to see fighting in the future, especially tough fights, but this show so far has made it seem like it's gonna be okay without fighting, and that's a really good thing. And I think it throws in the humor in like such silly small ways, kind of like the mimics and stuff like that. It just has a way of throwing them in there and make you laugh. And top it off, like adventure is what made me fall in love with like One Piece, honestly. And this show is all about adventure. So if they can make a really great story with really great character development around an adventure type show, I'm all in for it. And so far, after 4 episodes, I would probably give it a really high 8 and maybe a low 9 right now. So, and I would expect that to probably go up and stay in the 9s, honestly, as it goes.
Okay. On to me. So let's see. I think what's Mal at? It's probably artificially high, 9.05. All right, I wouldn't go that high for it, but this is definitely a story focused on character development, world building, and, not only journeying on the world, but also the journey within. The first 4 episodes were very, very good introduction into the series and what we're going to kind of experience going forward. I look forward to this one out of the most of any of the animes I watched so far for the fall. So I would give this probably an 8.3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it can maintain that too.
That's pretty solid too. So, especially after 4 episodes, this is, obviously our loose ratings. And just throw it out there and put it on paper, I guess you can say. So, but yeah, I guess that's it for Frieren, I guess.